Welcome to this new video. Today, we're delving deep into the world of API security vulnerabilities, using real examples from practicesoftwaretesting.com. We have two versions of the application, one seeded with some vulnerabilities and the other fortified with mitigations. But fear not. We're not just pointing out the issues. We're here to explain why they're problematic and how to fix them. Let's get started. Let's dive into our first vulnerability, OWASP A1, Broken Object Level Authorization. This vulnerability occurs when an application doesn't properly check whether the person making the request has the right to access the requested object. In our vulnerable version, a user can change the ID in the API request and fetch someone else's data. To mitigate this, it's crucial to implement proper authentication checks and access controls, ensuring that users can only access their own data. Let's see how you can spot this vulnerability and how to mitigate this. Now, in this scenario, a potential attacker is making repeated requests to this endpoint, systematically incrementing the user ID parameter in each request. With each increment, the attacker retrieves data associated with a different user. To prevent such security risks, it's crucial for applications to implement robust access controls and authorization checks, ensuring that only authorized users can access specific data. Now, onto OWASP A2, Broken Authentication. This vulnerability rears its head when an application uses weak or long-lived tokens, making it easier for attackers to gain unauthorized access. In our vulnerable version, an excessively long-lived access token provides a huge window of opportunity for malicious activities. To mitigate this, it's essential to use short-lived tokens and implement mechanisms like token refreshing to maintain security without compromising the user experience. Next up, OWASP A3, Excessive Data Exposure. This vulnerability occurs when an API response includes more data than necessary, potentially revealing sensitive information. In our flawed version, API responses spill user passwords and roles. To mitigate this, it's crucial to practice data minimization, providing only the data required for the specific operation and nothing more. Properly sanitize responses to remove sensitive information before sending them back to the client. Now, OWASP A4, Lack of Resources and Rate Limiting. This vulnerability occurs when an API doesn't control the rate at which requests can be made, leading to resource exhaustion. In our vulnerable version, fetching reports consumes excessive resources. To mitigate this, we can implement rate limiting. Define a reasonable limit for API requests and return a 429 too many requests status code when this limit is exceeded. This ensures fair usage and prevents abuse of resources. Moving on to OWASP A5, Broken Function Level Authorization. This vulnerability arises when an application doesn't properly check whether a user has the right to perform a specific action. In our flawed version, all invoices are returned without considering the user's access level. To mitigate this, employ proper authorization checks at each function level. Validate the user's permissions before allowing actions like retrieving sensitive data, ensuring that users only access functions they're authorized for. Lastly, let's talk about insecure direct object references, IDOR. This vulnerability occurs when an application exposes internal implementation objects to users. In our vulnerable version, incremental IDs make it easy for attackers to access data. To mitigate this, use non-sequential unpredictable identifiers like unique IDs, ULIDs. These IDs are not guessable, ensuring that attackers can't predict or manipulate the data, even if an endpoint is exposed. There you have it, a detailed exploration of API security vulnerabilities and their solutions. Remember, understanding these issues is crucial, but implementing the right fixes is even more vital. Stay informed and secure your applications, and join us next time for more insights. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest updates. Until then, happy testing!